The Dallas Cowboys are, without a doubt, in my mind, the best NFL franchise since 1960. Before 1960, you could make the argument that the Bears, the Eagles, the Steelers, the Lions, the 49ers, they were all great, great teams in their heyday, and those teams have all been relevant, maybe with the exception of the Lions, pretty much every decade. But I think I've been a Cowboys fan since 1990 when they drafted Emmitt Smith. I really thought they had some weapons. I was only 9 years old when that happened, but I could just tell, and I was excited. My family grew up, my mom's side of the family grew up Cowboys fans in South Texas, rooting for Dallas Cowboys. And there was actually some extended family that knew Tom Landry personally. So there's a lot of ties to it, but I truly feel that the Dallas Cowboys are the best NFL franchise since 1960. They've won 5 Super Bowls. They've been relevant in every decade. I mean, when you talk about having one NFL coach with the same owner, the same ownership group for 30 years, from 1960 to 1989, Tom Landry was the coach, and Tex Schramm was part of the leadership team, the ownership group. And I just think that is so amazing. They had so many great players on the field: Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, Danny White took over for Staubach. But even before Staubach, you had Craig Morton, you had Don Meredith. And I just feel like as they got into the 1980s, the rest of the league was catching up with Coach Landry's style, the flex defense. And when that happened, teams in their own division, like the Giants and the Redskins, started winning Super Bowls in the 80s. The Giants with Bill Parcells, and the Redskins with, oh my gosh, his name escapes me at the moment. Oh my gosh, the Redskins coach from the 1980s, Joe Gibbs. They won multiple championships, both of them did, and even into the 90s, the early 90s, the Redskins and Eagles won, the Redskins and the Giants won. But I want to talk about the transition in the 1980s that the Dallas Cowboys took. They had a quarterback that just retired, Roger Staubach, which was devastating. They came into the 80s with a declining in terms of skills, Tony Dorsett. And with the rest of the league catching up to Coach Landry, it was really a matter of time before they needed fresh vision. They needed a new start. So enter Jerry Jones in 1989. The Cowboys had already drafted Michael Irvin, who would prove to be a cornerstone piece of their championship teams in the 90s. They hire Jerry Jones, has the unfortunate task of letting Coach Landry go and hiring Jimmy Johnson, which was the best move Jerry Jones ever made until, presently speaking. That was the best in the last 30 years since he's owned the team. That was the best move he made, was hiring Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson went on to draft Emmitt Smith. They traded Herschel Walker, who was their best player, for a bunch of draft picks that would include Russell Maryland and really be a staple of that amazing defense they had. You talk about the weapons they had on offense with the big offensive line and Alvin Harper, Michael Irvin, Jay Novacek, Emmitt Smith, of course. But that defense was stupid good. It was really, really good, really talented. Ken Norton Jr., Darren Woodson, Robert Jones, linebacker, Leon Lett, Jim Jeffcoat, Bill Bates. They had studs on that team. Of course, they drafted Troy Aikman in '89 and then just went on that run. I would love to hear your thoughts on the Cowboys. Were obviously the team of the 90s, maybe not obvious to everybody, but you have the Packers as the team of the 60s. You have the Steelers as the team of the 70s. You have the Niners as the team of the 80s, and then, of course, the Cowboys as the team of the 90s. I would say that the Patriots are, I don't even think there's a doubt that the last 20 years, the Patriots have dominated professional football. I would love to get your thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys. I feel personally that they are the best NFL franchise since 1960. They've been the most relevant. They've won 5 Super Bowls, I believe second only to the Patriots and Steelers, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Niners and Cowboys each have 5. Would love to get y'all's thoughts on that.